Hey guys, so what I was sort of initially thinking about validity is that it's sort of just like the idea of something holds up, like it's valid, it like is almost like people talk about it like it's the same thing, it's true, like, and that's sort of the general sense you get of like, oh, okay, so that's valid, like, that's fair and it holds up is sort of like the general sense of it and sort of the way that I see the word valid. But I think the definition of the book was that like the proper definition according to like tests and measurements is that validity is when something measures what it actually set out to measure. So the example that I thought of was the Big Five test, and that's more of a construct validity, because like the dimensions of the Big Five test are like there's openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And all of those things are sort of like concepts, they're constructs, they're not like easy to pinpoint. But the point of like the Big Five test is to make them defined and then to have that like definition result, or I guess the Big Five isn't trying to define those things, but to get an idea of a definition, test like questions that get at that definition so that if someone gets a certain score on the test, it reflects their actual personality and reality. So, with like extroversion, for instance, if someone scores high on the Big Five test in extroversion, then you could say that that's a high validity if that same person is perceived as like an extrovert in real life and like is sort of gregarious and talkative and active and sort of whatever we think of as extroversion. If they actually are that thing in real life, then the test was valid at assessing the person for that concept. And if someone scores low on extroversion, then you would think that if it's a valid test in real life, that same person would act not extroverted. They'd be like introverted and have a lot of those traits. So like the idea is that the test is trying to ask you questions like, oh, like how often do you talk to people? Do you enjoy spending time with people? Are you more inclined to read a book or go to a party? Things like that. And the question is meant to target someone for like, at the core, do you actually have this natural inclination to like engage with the world, or do you have this natural inclination to sort of just close off and do things that are more quiet and all of that. So yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking for the test, is that like if the Big Five test is valid, and its construct that it's testing for, the stuff that can't be defined but is just like the essence of a person's personality or whatever, if it's valid at assessing that, then you're going to get a test result that reflects what the person's actual behavior is in real life, and that would then give it some validity and like projecting into the future of like what you can expect from them as an employee and things like that. So yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking on the idea of validity. Yeah, hope that makes sense to you guys. Let me know whatever you think.